Good evening. This is a meeting of the North Andover Zoning Board of Appeals taking place October 8th, 2024 at Town Hall, and we will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have a motion for the acceptance of the minutes for September 17th, 2024?
So moved.
Can I have second for Matthew? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're going a little bit out of order. We're going to take 335 Salem Street. They are coming in, I believe, for a continuance, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we are going to be continuing this until November 19th. Okay, November 19th. Can I have a motion to continue?
So moved.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will see you November 19th. You'll be first on the list.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, up next is 1250 Osgood Street. Good evening, Attorney Vaughn. You do not need to read anything in for this. Attorney Vaughn is coming back with a smile on his face.
Good evening. Yeah, you recall at the last meeting, there were some issues raised as to whether or not we could improve our plan for the location of the sign. We submitted a revised signage plan. We did three things. One is we changed the type of a sign from a monument to a pylon, taking into account the comments of the chair in particular. We believe that that was a good point, that it could create further visibility. We reduced the sign size, at least the facade of it. It's still the same height, but the actual portion of the sign on which the lettering appears has been reduced substantially, I would say. And then finally, we moved the sign back so that it would reduce the need for the variance. So we're now 6 feet off of the lot line. And again, I think the sign had been where it was initially because we were hoping to have it approved as a pre-existing sign, but since we were looking for the variance anyway, that really didn't matter anymore. And we think it creates, again, fair points that were raised, that it created better visibility, particularly for a second car queuing. I think it addresses all of the issues that were raised as best we can. We do still need to leave adequate room behind the sign to allow for circulation, but we think it's a much better plan, and we'd hope that the board could approve it this evening.
Please thank your client for me. I always appreciate it when comments are taken and actually put onto paper. As much as I'm not a fan of a sign here, I do think this is a much better sign. So that's my only comments on it. Anything from the board?
No, I think we did everything.
I mean, I really can't ask for more, right?
Well,
And I mean,
Sure.
ironically enough, I think for the added height is probably going to improve visibility of the sign for the applicant. But you know, I think from is the sign unobtrusive to the average person driving down the road? This is more sort of in your face. But on the other hand, I think from a safety perspective, I think it's better. And I think that's what matters more.
I would agree with you, and I thought the same thing when I first looked at it, but as I looked at it more closely, I don't know that it actually is more obtrusive because it
It's
in terms of overall height, it stayed the same, but they shrunk the facade size, so that's actually a lot smaller than it appears in comparison to the prior sign.
Understood. Okay.
Does the design make it, because it's a pylon sign now, is it a narrower profile essentially as well, so there's better visibility for those entering and leaving the lot? I mean, is that a function of the change to a pylon sign?
Yeah, I mean, we do think it worked before, but I think the chair's comment that she raised last time was that as the monument sign and where it was located, it fully blocked sight. And now, because of I mean, you'll still have the two pylons, but they're further back and there's much more visibility as opposed to what was before, a 10-foot wide sign that blocked view entirely.
You'll see headlights coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the brick part I'm not worried about, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I will ask, is there anyone from the public for 1250 Osgood Street? No? Okay. Any further questions from the board? Anything further from the applicant?
Nope.
Okay. Can I have a motion to close?
I move that we close the public comment.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discussion needed? Discussion wanted?
I think we've had all the discussion we need.
I feel like that might be a little bit of a dig.
No, I mean, you got what you wanted, right? I think that's the thing is that there's nothing left to discuss.
I
You
think
got
what she
everything
wanted
you
was no sign, really.
Yeah, well, fair.
I compromise.
I don't want to quote that song, but you can't always get exactly what you want.
I'm a woman of compromise. I want that
Something
known.
about that, too. I don't know.
I'm getting it tonight. Okay.
So,
Then, now it
what-
is your turn.
Yeah, we had, in the original package, we had a whole bunch of exhibits
So we're just
and
gonna.
pictures and some plans.
So,
But if we, well, when I read this, are we only gonna include these two sheets?
yes.
Okay?
So SA 1.7
Yep,
and plot plan dated August 12th, 2024.
yep.
That's all you're gonna have to read in.
Where's the date on? Oh, yeah, I got it.
Got it?
I don't see a date on the plot plan.
It's right.
I mean, no, on the pylon sign plan. I can just reference it as the
Well, I
sheet
don't-
number. And
Yeah, just,
who it's by. John Melkizel, was that the,
yeah.
who prepared the plan?
Yeah, I think if you reference it as pylon sign, that would be sufficiently clear since the prior one was monument.
Okay.
Leave it to the lawyer to give us the wording. Oh, wait a minute. We have to change the,
Yes.
all right. Someone give me math.
He's got it here, right?
So the setback proposed is 6 feet rather than 0.21 feet.
Wait a
And so the relief needed is 34 feet.
Setback proposed is 6 feet
Yep.
and 34 feet.
The relief variance of 34 feet is needed. The setback proposed is 6 feet, and the front setback required is 40 feet.
Okay.
So you
Yeah,
have 34,
yeah.
6,
How about
and that's the 40.
the size? Doesn't matter, right?
The drawing plan revision is August 12th.
And you found a date?
Yeah.
Well, that's on the back page, but not on the pylon page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no specific.
On this
No, it's not, it doesn't have to.
Right.
They're using the setbacks now on the next page, and that's what they're asking for.
Yeah.
So that's dated August 12th, 2024.
Yep.
So you can use that as a date for that.
Okay. All right. And,
But yeah, there's no variance requested on the size of the sign, so I don't think we need to do anything.
Right.
Wait, Paul, I have a question. Would the setback be to the post or to the sign?
The sign itself.
Okay,
Sign is the structure.
okay.
Otherwise, you could do some very weird things.
The closest element of the whole thing to the.
Okay. Okay, so you got that? Relief variance of 34,
Yeah.
proposed to 6 feet, required is 40.
Okay.
Okay, you're up.
Okay. I make a motion to approve a variance pursuant to Town of North Andover zoning bylaws, section 195-6.6 G3, permitted signs, industrial district, one ground sign containing the name or other identification of the use on the property for each street on which the property fronts. Each sign is limited to an area of 100 square feet. Such sign shall not be located closer than 40 feet to any property line or 20 feet above ground level in the I-2 zoning district. Specifically, applicant has requested a setback needing a relief variance of 34 feet from the property line. The front setback proposed is 6 feet, and the front setback required is 40 feet. And we will include plans by Merrimack Engineering Services, labeled Plan of Land in North Andover, Massachusetts, dated August 12th, 2024, and plan,
Revised September 30th.
thank you, revised September 30th, 2024, and plan titled Pylon Sign, drawing number SA-1.7 by Jarmel Kizel Architects and Engineering, Inc.
James? Oh, can I have a second?
I second.
Okay. James?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Frank?
Aye.
And Matthew, we're just gonna throw you in.
Aye.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Have a good night,
You too.
and please thank your clients for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We have a new public hearing for 82 Liberty Street.
Ready?
Ready when you are.
Notice is hereby given that the North Andover Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing at the North Andover Town Hall at 120 Main Street, North Andover, Massachusetts, on Tuesday, October 8th, 2024, at 7:30 PM, to all parties interested in the petition of Dirk Landgraf on behalf of Una Johnstone for property at 82 Liberty Street, map 90.B, parcel 54, North Andover, Mass. 01845 in the R1 zoning district. The applicant is requesting a variance pursuant to the Town of North Andover zoning bylaws, section 195-7.3, yards, setbacks, table 2, summary of dimensional requirements for one side setback in the R1 zoning district for the purpose of constructing a garage onto the existing house. Specifically, applicant has requested a side setback needing a relief variance of 11.7 feet. The side setback proposed is 18.3 feet. The side setback required per table 2 is 30 feet. The application and supporting materials are available for review at the Office of the Zoning Department, located at 120 Main Street, North Andover, Massachusetts, on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesday from the hours of 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and Friday from the hours of 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. By order of the Board of Appeals, Alexandria A. Jacobs, Esquire, Chair.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
Good evening. So if you can just introduce yourself and then just tell us what's going on.
Sure. My name is Robert Melvin with Stamsky and McNary. I'll be representing the applicant on variance request at 82 Liberty Street. Just to start with a little bit of background on the property, 82 Liberty Street is a non-conforming lot with insufficient frontage. I believe it has 150 feet when 175 feet is requested. It also has insufficient lot area with about 50,000 square feet existing, where 87,120 square feet is required. This site contains an existing single-family dwelling with a deck, patio, walkway, driveway, and a shed. The dwelling is served by 2 leach pits and a private well. The property has no formal garage or parking area aside from the driveway. And The site contains a bordering vegetative wetland on the southern portion of the lot, which projects a 100-foot buffer zone onto almost the entire property. So that's a little bit about the property here. So just getting into our variance request, we'd like to request to vary the side yard setback. Where 30 feet is required, we are requesting an 18.3-foot offset from the property line to construct a 2-car garage. And this request is being made, and it's due to the lot shape. As I've explained, this is a non-conforming lot, which results in a much smaller building envelope than other lots in the zoning district. It also results in a narrower envelope, which reduces the ability of the dwelling to expand towards its side yards. As well as lot shape, we have topography on the lot, which is also constricting the ability to construct this garage. We have lower elevations in the lot. Like I've said, we have bordering vegetated wetlands, projecting a 100-foot buffer zone onto a majority of the lot. And the existing dwelling is actually situated within the 50-foot no-build zone that is required by the Conservation Commission. So to the east and west of the dwelling, constructing the garage would not be possible because the entire building envelope to the east and west is consumed nearly entirely by the 50-foot no-build zone. Also, the rear yard is several feet lower than the existing dwelling floor. And we believe that without the variance request, that this would create a financial hardship on the homeowner, as the cost of construction would increase to construct the garage in other locations on the lot. That is to say that it would require much more fill for the project. So we've presented a set of architectural drawings which shows a 1-car garage, sort of just a presentation of what it would look like. It is an odd shape, sort of a trapezoid, and it would be very tight to fit a car in that space if we were to follow the zoning setback. As well as it would be very difficult to pull in and out of that garage, as the face would be sort of situated in an awkward position. So that, I believe, covers my initial presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions or have any discussions.
Okay, so this image is if you didn't get what your request.
Yes, exactly, yep.
Which one is that?
It's the second picture under floor plans. Are you in front of conservation as well right now, or no?
Yeah, so I'm actually filling in for my coworker Nathaniel. He did attend the Conservation Commission hearing. I believe it was the previous hearing. And they really didn't offer any too much feedback on our proposal. However, they did indicate that they'd rather us get approval from the ZBA before they are willing to move forward, so.
Don't you love when you have that?
Well, the problem is that if you turn them down.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens there. Yeah.
I know. I
So
just,
the only.
But you can say it the other way around, too.
they
So the
want
only
us to
floor
see.
plan in the set is one that isn't what you're requesting.
That's correct, yeah.
You don't have a floor plan of what you are requesting.
The architect did not prepare one for the, for this.
Oh, I guess,
Well, they have the plot
he's got
plan.
it dotted.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Right.
Right.
they have the plot plan. This is,
Yeah.
that picture is basically if you cut off that triangle at the 30-foot,
Yep.
which oddly enough is what I thought they were originally doing. And I just
So
don't
we
like,
wouldn't want to include this if I were to,
No.
to read this. We
no,
wanna
but the only
include
thing,
that sheet.
honestly, the only thing I would have you include is the plot plan.
Yeah.
Nothing else really. I mean,
Because there's no request for a height variance or anything like that.
right.
Yeah.
So in all honesty, their renderings kind of don't matter.
They're informational for us.
Okay.
When was the house constructed?
When was the house constructed? I am not entirely sure
It
of
should
that.
be on the
but-
application.
Yeah.
2012 maybe?
The deed says 2012,
No, that couldn't have been.
but I think that.
That might have been
was-
the purchase date.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely prior to 2012.
Paul, doesn't the application normally,
No, it doesn't usually matter, unless it's over 100 years old.
what if it's
Uh,
over 100 years old?
We might have to go to historical. Let's see if there's anything in there.
But I assume that it is where it is because it was grandfathered in, and thus, when the current law around setbacks from, or buffer zones around wetlands were created, that the house already existed.
Right, right.
So that is, okay.
Definitely, yep.
Okay. But by modern standards, this is a pretty, extreme close-up to the wetland, and it does make things challenging, I understand that.
Definitely, yep.
I mean, listen, my house might not have been built if the wetlands were where it is today.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't really have any questions,
Questions?
but it seems like it's not harmful to anyone. Right, no butters, so,
Well, we don't know that one yet.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and presumably conservation will discuss any issues with, water flow and things like that. But
Right.
Is there anyone here on 82 Liberty Street? I know it's such a full room. Okay. Any other questions from the board? No? Anything further you would like to add?
Yeah, I guess I'd just like to add that the applicant is intending to leave a vegetated buffer between the garage and that property line there. And also, the neighboring dwelling is situated over 90 feet away from the edge of that proposed garage. So there would be an adequate setback between the neighbors.
And has the applicant discussed this with the neighbor at all?
That I'm not sure of.
Okay.
Do you know, if you know, are some of the surrounding properties subject to, similar circumstances with respect to the buffer zone? I mean, are there other wetlands in the area and?
There are definitely other wetlands in the area, but as far, we've looked at many of the properties and none of them are as drastic as this property is. There may be some within the buffer zone, but not too many other sites have the dwelling situated so close to the wetland there.
I think the application says that all the houses on that street have garages.
Two-car, yeah.
That is true as well, yeah.
Garages.
This was built in 1987, Mr. Bob.
Not that long ago.
Okay.
But when you drive down Liberty, the first 5 or 6 houses on the left, which this one is, there's all wetlands behind all those houses. So I think it's a,
Paul, do you know when the wetlands regime came into play and would have grandfathered this house?
I believe that was 1996.
96?
Okay.
Commonwealth owns all the land behind them.
Who?
The Commonwealth
Yeah.
of Mass owns all the land behind them, so.
Yeah, they only have one neighbor, a butter.
Okay. Anything else from anybody?
No, I
Okay.
discovered a new street that I had.
I love when that happens.
One of the, I guess I knew there was a street there, but I thought that was part of Middleton.
Oh,
Isn't there another road on that side of Shopner's Pond Road that is in Middleton?
don't ask me where it's,
Essex Street, when you go right across, you come up Salem and you go straight across, turns.
Oh, yeah,
into-
but-
Turns right there, turns into Essex Street.
Yeah, but I mean, if you came out there.
Well, halfway down
and took
Liberty.
a left and then,
Halfway down Liberty turns into Middleton too.
oh, okay, all right.
Super minor thing, it doesn't affect my decision here, but it mentions North Andover, Massachusetts being in Middlesex County. We are definitely, it is definitely not that.
Denied.
Yeah. Yeah, our
Paperwork faulty.
office doesn't do too many other projects outside of Middlesex, so that's probably where that's coming from.
Cut and paste gets you out once in a while.
this is the one thing I am going to ask because of that. If this goes your way tonight, I would ask for you to resubmit the plot plan and have it state Essex County,
Sure, yeah, definitely.
just so that we can have that corrected for the record, because that can mess things up sometimes. So,
Yeah, it actually mentions in two places that it's Middlesex County, 'cause it mentions in the paragraph at the top as well.
okay. So the two spots, the top where it says the existing dwelling and proposed garage on this property are located as shown.
I see, yep.
So have that Middlesex corrected and then the Middlesex County under North Andover corrected. Just so that we can have the proper counties for,
Yep, definitely.
but I will not have that hold this up. But please just make sure that does get done.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Okay, so if there's nothing further, what we would do is we would do a motion, close, have whatever discussion, and then vote.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so you're gonna get to take the win covering for a colleague.
We
I'll
don't know
take
yet.
Well, okay, you might take the win, you might take the fail.
Fingers crossed.
Cross your fingers, it's a rough crowd. Do you? Okay, yes.
Yeah, I wrote that down, yeah.
All right, I move that we close the public comment.
Second.
Jen, did you get that? Motion? Motion?
Second.
Second from Matthew. Okay. Is there any discussion?
Jen, no emails or from anybody?
Nothing comes anymore electronically. It has to be presented prior to the meeting, or they have to be here.
Oh,
That was for our COVID paragraph.
okay. Oh, we don't need that anymore.
We don't do that anymore. I like it. It's one last question I have to ask. Any questions, comments, concerns, discussion?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
This one's pretty easy. I mean, the only concern I have is just about permeable land, and that's conservation's thing, not ours, so.
We don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Okay. So
Okay.
can I have a motion?
Are they taking that shed out of there?
What is it?
The shed that's not supposed to be there.
The shed?
What do you, wait, whoa. Don't go getting nitpicky over sheds, okay? Because my shed's not supposed to be where it
looks like
is.
it's right in their driveway line anyway, so there's a shed that's in the front yard on the
Oh,
back.
I see.
That can't be there. I'm sure it wasn't permanent, so that would have to be removed before we allow it.
Why are you now throwing hiccups in this?
It's not a hiccup.
It doesn't affect our vote on the variance, whether we approve the variance or not,
Well, hold on,
that will still remain.
Yep.
hold on. It doesn't show where they're putting the driveway.
Yeah.
Right, but no matter what we do, if that shed is not legal, that shed is not legal, and it doesn't change.
Well, that's not my department, that's his department.
Right,
Why would that-
that's why he's just telling him,
Oh.
let him know that you
Okay.
better get the shed out of there.
I want to see if he had new, he's kind of going on it, so I don't know if they have the plans or what on it, if they are, but it would look like that, it wouldn't be there anyway, so that's where a driveway would have to go through, but we need to,
Maybe they
Why
want
would-
their,
Why wouldn't that be,
it's in front of the house. It's on Liberty Street, you can't have it in front of the house.
oh, okay.
It's gotta be past the front line of the house.
you really can't have a shed in the front of the house? What if it's a she shed?
What if it's a,
What if it's
Accessory dwelling.
an accessory dwelling?
No, that's still on the zoning. Still has to comply with our zoning bylaws.
It really can't be in the front of the house?
In front of the house.
I'm gonna put a she shed up in the front of my house.
I'm in front of everybody, I would not say it.
I'm gonna put a she shed up.
all right, Frank, start reading.
Okay. Make a motion to approve a variance pursuant to Town of North Andover zoning bylaw, section 195-7.3, yards, setbacks, table 2, summary of dimensional requirements for one side setback in the R1 zoning district for the purpose of constructing a garage onto the existing house. Specifically, applicant has requested a side setback needing a relief variance of 11.7 feet. The side setback proposed is 18.3 feet, and the side setback required per table 2 is 30 feet. And we make reference to proposed plot plan by Stamsky and McNary dated February 6, 2024, and on the condition that the proposed plot plan be revised to change the reference from Middlesex County to Essex County.
Okay. Can I have a second?
I second.
Okay. James?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Frank?
Aye.
Matthew, what's throwing you in?
Aye.
Okay. So that got approved, but you will not get the decision until the corrected plot plan.
Okay. I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Get a permit until that shed's on.
Okay, again, that's on him.
Not our fault.
I thought you could pass the line.
Listen, don't add to my workload. I have too much stuff going on. Next up is new public hearing for 157 Green Street.
Okay. Notice is hereby given that the North Andover Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing at the North Andover Town Hall at 120 Main Street, North Andover, Mass. On Tuesday, October 8th, 2024, at 7:30 PM. To all parties interested in the petition of Abigail Anderson for property at 157 Green Street, map 33, parcel 10, North Andover, Massachusetts, 01845, in the R4 zoning district. The applicant is requesting a variance pursuant to Town of North Andover zoning bylaws, section 195-7.3, yards, setbacks, table 2, summary of dimensional requirements for one front setback in the R4 zoning district for the purpose of constructing a new covered front entry on the existing house. Specifically, applicant has requested a front setback needing a relief variance of 9.7 feet. The front setback proposed is 20.3 feet, and the front setback required per table 2 is 30 feet. Application and supporting materials are available for review at the office of the zoning department located at 120 Main Street, North Andover, Mass. On Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesday from the hours of 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and Friday from the hours of 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. By order of the Board of Appeals, Alexandria A. Jacobs, Esquire, Chair.
Why, thank you. Hi.
Hi,
If you can just introduce yourself and tell us what's going on.
sure. Abby Anderson, 157 Green Street. So our front entry is in need of repair. It's deteriorating. The steps currently aren't safe. There's no railings on the steps, and then there's actually no landing at all at the top of the steps. You have to step back when you open up the door. In addition, on the interior, when we open the front door, you're kind of backed up into the interior stairs as well. The way the house sits on the plot, the footprint of the house is at the very front of the plot, so we need a variance to do anything. So we want to redo the steps and put a landing as well as railings to make it safer. In addition, we think our neighbors will all be very happy. It'll look a lot better in the neighborhood. It's kind of deteriorating now.
Okay. They don't need railing on the stairs currently? Well, they don't have them.
It was already existing that way.
need a landing on that side though before you go in, so. So we're trying to make it code compliant, how's that?
We like code compliance.
So the original
overrated.
stairs and entryway, or
Said it's
covered entryway
overrated.
are within the setback as it is?
So, no, we would need a variance to do anything. If you look at the plot plan, kind of 30 feet is, you can't even do anything with the stairs at all. So the stairs already would need a variance, the way
Right,
it exists
they're
today.
already in
Yeah, yes.
Setback.
The new plan, they come out just a couple feet further from where they come out now.
Okay, any questions?
So, Paul, do the open stairs need to be, meet the setback, or just the covered, roof entry part?
All of it. Well,
It's not a deck, it's the stairs.
So yes,
Yeah.
okay. I just didn't want to make sure the setbacks were correct.
I mean, already, the existing stairs already are closer than 30 feet.
If you look down that street,
They're all the same.
they're almost all the same.
No,
If you look-
yeah, I drove by, I noticed that they all look the same. I just didn't think the open stairs had to meet the setbacks. I thought it was just
Not
a,
a deck can, but a deck can.
okay.
I don't have any questions.
none? Okay. Anybody here for 157 Green Street? No? Okay.
There's a letter in the package, right?
So we have two letters of support from your neighbors from 133 Green Street and 183 Green Street, who are both, like I say, in support of it.
I move that we close the public comment.
I'll second that.
Well, hold
Oh,
on.
whoa.
You guys really want to get out of here. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay. I always like to give them that last. Okay, now you can make a motion.
I move that we close the public comment.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Man, you guys are just itching to get out. Questions, comments, concerns, discussion?
I think this is easy.
Yeah, I always think that corner lots are tough too, because they.
Because they're cornered?
Kids,
well,
you
they
get
get
setback
two-
from both sides.
Two front setbacks, and so,
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable, so.
The only thing you'll have to put in is the plot plan.
Okay, not these plans?
You don't have to put in the renderings.
Okay,
Those are more informative.
okay. I make a motion to approve a variance pursuant to Town of North Andover zoning bylaws, section 195-7.3, yards, setbacks, table 2, summary of dimensional requirements for one front setback in the R4 zoning district for the purpose of constructing a new covered front entry on the existing house. Specifically, applicant has requested a front setback needing a relief variance of 9.7 feet. The front setback proposed is 20.3 feet, and the front setback required per table 2 is 30 feet. And we make reference to a plot plan of land by Sullivan Engineering Group dated August 27th, 2024.
Okay. Can I have a second?
I second.
Okay. James?
aye.
Michael?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Frank?
Yes.
Matthew?
Aye.
Okay. So that gets approved. Give me a couple weeks to get you the decision.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Okay, up next is 1101 Turnpike Street.
Okay. Notice is hereby given that the North Andover Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing at the North Andover Town Hall at 120 Main Street, North Andover, Massachusetts, on Tuesday, October 8, 2024, at 7:30 PM, to all parties interested in the petition of Michael Mullaney, Mackenzie Engineering Company, Inc., as agent for Metro West Realty LLC for property at 1101 Turnpike Street, map 107.C, parcel 16, North Andover, Mass. 01845, in the I-1 zoning district. The applicant is requesting a variance pursuant to Town of North Andover zoning bylaws, section 195-7.3, yards, setbacks, attachment 3, table 2, summary of dimensional requirements for one rear setback in the I-1 zoning district for the purpose of constructing a pole barn for weather protection for electric service bucket trucks. Specifically, applicant has requested a rear setback needing a relief variance of 58.9 feet. The rear setback proposed is 41.1 feet, and the rear setback required per table 2 is 100 feet. The applicant is requesting a variance pursuant to Town of North Andover zoning bylaws, section 195, attachment 3, table 2, summary of dimensional requirements, amended 6/18/2019, STM by Article 1, 6/17/2021, ATM by Article 27, footnote 3. The first 50 feet of such setback abutting the residential district shall remain open and green, be suitably landscaped, unbuilt upon, unpaved, and not parked upon in the I-1 zoning district for the purpose of constructing a pole barn for weather protection for electrical service bucket trucks. Specifically, applicant has requested a relief variance of the effective visual buffer per table 2, footnote 3, waiving the requirement for the first 50 feet to remain open and green, be suitably landscaped, unbuilt upon, and unpaved, and not parked upon. Application and supporting materials are available for review at the office of the zoning department located at 120 Main Street, North Andover, Mass. On Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesday from the hours of 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and Friday from the hours of 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. By order of the Board of Appeals, Alexandria A. Jacobs, Esquire, Chair.
Hi, if you can just introduce yourself, and then you can tell us what's going on, what you're looking for.
Certainly, good evening. My name is Mike Mullaney. I'm from McKenzie Engineering, representing Metro West Realty LLC, which is the property holder for National Grid. It's the site at 1101 Turnpike Street that's been their electric operations center for, I'm not sure exactly how long, but at least 25 years they've been operating as they currently are. The project proposed is a pole barn. It's a 3-sided roof structure that's basically going to provide weather protection for existing electric service vehicles, bucket trucks, could be pole placing trucks, but they're basically the same size pieces of equipment that are currently parked in the location where this pole barn is proposed to be constructed. And the purpose of the pole barn is really, again, just to provide weather protection, so responders from National Grid to electric calls during emergency situations such as snowstorms can be expedited because they won't be spending time cleaning snow off the equipment. The pole barn couldn't be sited effectively elsewhere on the property due to existing conditions, including wetlands. The project has already been permitted. There's an order of conditions from the North Andover Conservation Commission that was issued, actually coming up on 3 years, so we're applying for an extension now. So it went through that process. There's no work in the North Andover no-build zone of your local wetlands, so the project is compliant with respect to both state and local wetlands requirements. The project has also received a waiver of site plan review from the planning board. That was recent, that was September 24th. The reason, in addition to the wetlands restriction that the pole barn couldn't effectively be sited elsewhere on the property, is the trucks where they're currently located are in close proximity of equipment that would be used potentially in service calls. There are pole-mounted transformers in close proximity, and the service garage for these vehicles is also in close proximity. It's sited on the westerly edge of an existing paved area that has both these vehicles and passenger vehicles that are parked, employees of National Grid. And traffic circulation patterns wouldn't allow this to be safely located to meet the 100-foot setback, for which we're seeking relief from the zoning bylaw. Additionally, the structure where it will be sited, there's an existing mature canopy of trees between this property and the residential two-zone property to the west. The closest house, residential structure, is over 280 feet from where this pole barn would be located. And because this existing buffer, which is 30 feet deep, it wouldn't be the 50 feet that is required of zoning for landscaped or buffer. Beyond that 30 feet, it's wetlands, so the existing trees will remain in place, extending onto the adjacent property. So the effective buffer depth is about 135 feet or more to that residential property. To the north, that canopy wraps around the property, and it's at least 100 feet deep to another residential area. This building won't be visible from any of these properties. It's located more than 700 feet off of Turnpike Street and would be not visible from there, not only because of the distance, but because of existing structures that are two-story, and this is it's a tall but single-story structure. The hardship in literal enforcement of the bylaw would be that the pole barn couldn't be constructed for the reasons I've explained previously, couldn't be sited elsewhere on the property, and that would continue to result in longer response times for National Grid during snowstorms. And it is really the minimum change that would allow for this use. Again, we couldn't push it in any direction without impacting traffic flow through the site. We would potentially result in cross-flow between passenger vehicles and these service trucks, which would not be a safe condition. And I believe it is in harmony with the purpose and intent of the bylaw, because this would allow the construction to help mitigate sounds from idling trucks as well. So it would actually enhance the conditions for the abutters. Any questions?
I know you mentioned that the abutters are about 280 feet away. Have you talked with them at all?
No.
There's no lighting or anything, right?
There is lighting. There's wall pack lighting, and I have within the submittal, the wall pack lights, which I believe are about 18 feet above grade, are aimed down, and they have cutoff shields that prevent light from
Okay.
going across the property lines.
Planning, asking him about the lighting, please.
No. But I brought it up.
But this isn't something that's gonna be shining.
It won't be visible because the lights at 18 feet are aimed down, and the trees behind the structure, I believe in that packet, I provided a couple of photos, and I put some graphic representations, isometrics, if you will, of the structure on it. Not the plans, but there are elevation views on 8.5 by 11. Yep, it's in that attachment that you have, yes. So the trees behind the structure are 2.5 times the height of the structure. You're not going to be able to see the lights or the building itself.
And they're on the front of it, so the roof line of the pole barn itself blocks that light.
Yeah. They're on the front and the side.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Can you explain what was the 3-year conservation 3 years ago?
Yeah, so this project's been in the works for quite a while with National Grid, and as National Grid projects tend to go, they have annual spending budgets, and for reasons I'll never be able to wrap my head around, and I've been working for them for 35 years, things get pushed down the line. This became active this year, money was allocated for it, but the project was designed and initially permitted through conservation in 2001, so we're
In 2021.
21.
Oh,
I
was just-
apologize. Yep. Just seems like
That'd be a really
2000.
long time.
Just seems like 2001. But yes, so an extension request is being filed, and the wetlands flagging is being refreshed, which would have been done anyways before the contractor mobilized to start construction, just to make sure that setbacks were being met.
And is it gonna hold 8 trucks? Is that
Correct.
8 bays?
I know I shouldn't say this, but that doesn't seem like a lot.
As long as they come to North Andover first.
I mean, not that I'm saying I necessarily want you to make it longer and bigger, but that just doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah, because of other, they have a couple of trash containers and storage containers located where we suggested they relocate those so we could extend it to 12 bays, actually. They didn't decide to proceed with that at this time. They may come back at some point,
They'll come back in another 3 years.
most likely, or before the conclusion of the project.
So that's not the total number of trucks that they run out of that?
No.
And this puts North Andover first on the put power back on, right? Totally joking.
Condition of the variance.
I shouldn't say that while I'm recording. Okay. Obviously, I don't have to ask if there's any questions from the audience, because we don't have an audience anymore. Any questions from the board, other than what has been asked? Any comments, concerns? Looking to both sides, okay? Oh,
I'm just thinking of
Okay.
what plans I would reference. Because this
my most
Proposed.
important one,
plan, it doesn't show the full lot, does it?
it doesn't need to show the full lot,
Okay.
as long as it's showing a proper representation of where this
Yeah. and
pole
it-
barn. I will
and
tell you, I thought a pole barn was actually for poles.
Most people do.
Okay, good, so I wasn't
There's
completely.
poles on the trucks.
No, but I thought literally like this is where telephone poles were stored. It just makes more sense.
You would think so, but they're designed to be outdoors, the poles, so they're gonna be in the weather, so it really doesn't.
Well, that was kind of my,
They're full setting trucks.
So, yes, there are, pole setting trucks could be parked underneath this weather protection, or
Could be a bucket,
bucket
too.
trucks, right.
Buckets and they have the augers.
it's just a strange name, that's all. I mean,
The origin of the name is when
Poles
these,
support the structure.
Well,
that's exactly it. So when these were originally constructed, they used utility poles to build them.
I'm learning something.
Leftover ones.
Leftover ones, the crooked ones.
Yeah, there you go.
Hopefully not.
Okay, the only thing you're really gonna have to reference is going to be, I believe. I forgot about that, I don't know about that.
The Conoco site plan
think it's
should
this
be,
one.
I would suggest.
Right? If it's-
Well, the Conoco, I think, is the most,
Because it's the only one that shows.
I don't think the
setback.
dimensional plans for the building are.
well, because that comes down to the building department, right, Paul?
So it's just this Conoco plan.
It's,
it's-
should,
that's
should,
what-
if I, respectfully, it should be the Conoco plan.
Okay. So that's, we're saving you work.
Yeah,
Okay,
the only other one
that doesn't matter.
would be this, well, it shows details of drainage that they're gonna put in and whatnot. And
That's gonna be conservation, that's gonna be more conservation.
Yeah.
It's already been approved.
Correct.
I hope you're
One
within
is
your
here, too,
extension.
If you want to get another one, is there G1-1, showing the distance from the house, and the distance from the street, and the shore buffer, tree buffer that can't come down. G, the picture one, the very first picture one, this one here.
That
Yeah.
one? So are you saying I should put a condition that trees,
No, I didn't say that, but, I mean, it's showing how really far away the house is, the buffers from the other. It's up to you, you're the boss.
I am far from it.
Okay.
All right, so
I
then
would have thought D 2.1, but, that, I'm fine.
we'll do
That
the
and
big
this.
one
Yeah,
and that one. Sound good?
yeah.
Okay, now I have to, can I have a motion to close?
I move that we close the public comment.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Any discussion?
I'm good.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
And not even changing the amount of impermeable land, because it's on parking lot that already exists, so I'm fine with it.
And we're gonna get National Grid out quicker.
That's what they say.
I like your,
No
I
de-icing
like
the
your
trucks.
recommendation for that condition. Should we
The
include-
trucks
should
get out quicker because they're not,
They
No.
come in, they service North End.
trust me, if I could do that, I absolutely would, but I think I would get in trouble somewhere along the lines.
we- Well, it's not, it's for the benefit of the town, right?
Yeah, I still think I would get into trouble.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a reg that says that's not possible.
Yeah, right. Okay, so then can I
Or the town
have,
gives something.
give something, get something? Well, maybe we'll make them happier and they'll come to us first. There we go. Okay, can I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve a variance pursuant to Town of North Andover zoning bylaws, section 195-7.3, yards, setbacks, attachment 3, table 2, summary of dimensional requirements for one rear setback in the I-1 zoning district for the purpose of constructing a pole barn for weather protection for electric service bucket trucks. Specifically, applicant has requested a rear setback needing a relief variance of 58.9 feet. The rear setback proposed is 41.1 feet, and the rear setback required per table 2 is 100 feet. Do I make another motion to approve when I start the second
Yep.
paragraph?
Yep. No, you can just continue it.
Okay, the applicant is requesting a variance pursuant to Town of North Andover zoning bylaws, section 195, attachment 3, table 2, summary of dimensional requirements, amended June 18th, 2019, STM by Article 1, June 17th, 2021, ATM by Article 27, footnote 3. The first 50 feet of such setback abutting the residential district shall remain open and green, be suitably landscaped, unbuilt upon, unpaved, and not parked upon in the I-1 zoning district for the purpose of constructing a pole barn for weather protection for electric service bucket trucks. Specifically, applicant has requested a relief variance of the effective visual buffer per table 2, footnote 3, waiving the requirement for the first 50 feet to remain open and green, be suitably landscaped, unbuilt upon, unpaved, and not parked upon. We also incorporate a photo titled National Grid Pole Barn
G1
by Mackenzie Engineering, Inc., dated September 19th, 2024, and proposed a certified plot plan titled Proposed Pole Barn, 1101 Turnpike Street. It should say North Andover, Mass., but it says Andover, Mass. We'll make that, tell them to change that. By Coneco Engineers and Scientists, dated August 7th, 2024.
Conditioned on them correcting that.
Yep, with the condition that a new certified plot plan be submitted with a correction of listing North Andover, Massachusetts in place of Andover, Massachusetts in the title.
Okay. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. James?
Yes, aye.
Aye.
I am an aye, right?
Yes.
Matthew?
Aye.
All right, so that's, you got all your votes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Please just make sure that you get
Will
to
do.
Jennifer.
Yes.
The correct one. Thank you. Okay. 3:35 is coming back. Hey. Sorry, I just wanted to do that. Can I have a motion to continue the issue of the 2025 meeting schedule?
I make a motion to postpone the meeting schedule.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And can I have a motion to close?
I move to close.
Okay, can I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.